Hey everyone, welcome to Daily English Podcast. I'm Noah and I'm here with Grace, as always. And today we're talking about something you probably do more often than you realize, asking about prices and discounts.
Exactly. Because whether you're shopping for clothes, buying a new phone, ordering something online, or simply looking around a store, knowing how to ask about prices naturally can make everyday English much easier.
And honestly, this sounds simple, but there are so many little questions we use in real conversations, like how much is this? How much does it cost? Is this on sale? Or can I get a discount?
Right. And the interesting thing is that knowing the words is only part of the skill. You also need to know how people actually ask these questions without sounding too formal or too direct.
That's true, because if I walk into a store and just say, price, it might be understandable, but it doesn't exactly sound friendly.
No worries, you're not the only one, and that's what makes this topic useful. We're going to look at simple expressions that sound natural in real life.
We'll also get into those little moments that happen when you find something you really like, but then you look at the price tag and suddenly think, maybe I don't need it after all.
Oh, definitely. We've all had that moment. You pick up something beautiful, check the price, and quietly put it back like nothing ever happened.
Exactly. And sometimes there's a discount, but you don't know how to ask about it. Or you see a sign saying 20% off and wonder what the final price will be.
So today, we'll make those situations much easier, and you'll hear practical English that you can actually use when you're shopping in everyday life.
And while you're listening, try to imagine yourself in the store, hear the questions, notice the responses, and quietly repeat some of the phrases in your mind.
That little practice can help you react faster, because English becomes much easier when you stop translating every single sentence and start recognizing familiar patterns.
Sounds good. And I think we should start with a situation that happens all the time. You see something you like, you pick it up, and the first question that comes to your mind is, how much is this?
Exactly. And what happens after that can be surprisingly interesting, especially when you discover that the price isn't quite what you expected.
Let's take a look at that moment, because you might hear yourself asking the same questions the next time you go shopping.
And who knows, maybe you'll even discover a discount waiting for you.
So, imagine you're walking into a clothing store, and you notice a jacket that immediately catches your attention. You pick it up, look at the tag, and naturally ask, how much is this?
And that's probably the most useful sentence to remember. How much is this? It's short, friendly, and completely natural in everyday English.
You can also say, how much does this cost? That sounds a little more complete, but people use both expressions all the time.
Exactly. And if you're talking about something plural, you can say, how much are these? For example, you're looking at a pair of shoes and you ask, how much are these?
Right. And there's another useful expression. How much is it? You might use that after you've already talked about the item, so you don't need to repeat its name.
For example, you could ask, I really like this jacket. How much is it? That sounds very natural.
And then maybe the salesperson says, it's $80.
At that moment, you might think, $80? Okay, that's more than I expected.
And now comes the important question. Is it on sale?
Exactly. Is it on sale? Is one of the most useful expressions when you're shopping.
You could also ask, is there a discount on this? That's especially useful when you're interested in an item, but want to know whether the price can be reduced.
And if you see a sign that says 20% off, you can ask, is this 20% off?
Or, how much is it after the discount? That's a great question when you want to know the final price.
Definitely, because sometimes the original price looks scary, but the discounted price is much better.
And sometimes the opposite happens. You see a huge discount sign, get excited, and then realize the discount only applies to a very specific item.
Oh yes, that happens all the time. And that's why another useful question is, does the discount apply to this?
I like that one because it helps you avoid surprises at the checkout.
Exactly. And you can also ask, are there any special offers? That sounds polite and natural when you're simply checking whether the store has a promotion.
Let's imagine I'm buying a pair of headphones, and the price is a little high. I might ask, are there any discounts available?
That works perfectly. And if you're buying more than one item, you could ask, do you offer a discount if I buy two?
Or maybe, can you give me a better price?
Yes, but be careful with that one, because it depends on the situation. In some stores, it's completely normal, while in others, it might sound a little unusual.
So it's not just about knowing the sentence, it's about understanding the situation.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest secrets of natural English. The same sentence can feel different depending on where you use it.
Let's say you're at a small local market, and you find a beautiful handmade bag. You ask, how much is this?
The seller says, it's $30.
And I say, I really like it, but that's a little more than I wanted to spend.
That sounds natural, and now you could politely ask, would you be able to give me a small discount?
That feels much softer than simply saying, give me a discount.
Exactly, because would you be able to makes the request more polite, especially when you're asking someone to do something for you.
And if the seller says, I can give you $5 off, I could say, that sounds good, I'll take it.
Or you could say, thanks, I appreciate that.
So we've got quite a few useful expressions already. How much is this? How much does this cost? Is it on sale? Is there a discount? How much is it after the discount? And would you be able to give me a small discount?
Exactly. And don't worry about memorizing all of them at once. Choose 2 or 3 that feel comfortable and start using those first.
That's true, because the goal isn't to sound like a dictionary, it's to sound like yourself, just with more confidence.
And once these expressions become familiar, you'll start hearing them everywhere. In stores, online shopping conversations, markets, restaurants, and even when friends are talking about something they bought.
So next time you see something you want, don't just look at the price tag and walk away.
Ask naturally, how much is this? You might get a better answer than you expect.
And maybe even a better price.
Exactly. That would definitely make shopping more fun.
You know what I like about this topic? The expressions are simple, but there are small differences between them. And those differences can help you sound much more natural.
Exactly. And you don't need to study them like complicated grammar rules. You just need to understand when people normally use each expression.
So let's start with the easiest one. How much is this? You use it when you're pointing at one thing or holding one item in your hand.
Right. Imagine you're in a clothing store and you see a shirt you like. You pick it up and ask, how much is this?
The structure is very simple. How much plus is plus this.
And if you're talking about more than one thing, you changes to are, so you say, how much are these?
For example, you're looking at 2 pairs of shoes and you ask, how much are these?
Exactly. And notice something important. We don't say, how much does these cost? Because these is plural.
So we say, how much do these cost?
Yes, and for one thing you can say, how much does this cost?
Let me make that really simple. One item. How much does this cost? More than one item. How much do these cost?
That's it, and you'll hear both versions in everyday conversations.
Now what about how much is it?
Good question, because how much is it is usually used when both people already know what you're talking about.
So if I point at a jacket and say, I really like this jacket, how much is it? The word it refers to the jacket.
Exactly. you don't need to repeat the word jacket again because the context is already clear.
That makes conversations shorter and more natural.
Definitely. And real conversations are often like that. People use short expressions because they don't need to repeat information that everyone already understands.
Now let's talk about discounts, because this is where shopping English becomes really useful.
One of the most common expressions is this on sale?
And on sale means the item is being sold at a lower price than usual, often for a limited time.
Right, so if a jacket normally costs $100, but the store is selling it for $70, you might ask, is this on sale?
You can also say, is there a discount on this?
Yes, and there's a small difference in feeling, is this on sale? Usually asks whether the item has a reduced price, while is there a discount on this? Focuses more directly on the reduction.
But in everyday shopping, both are perfectly useful.
Exactly. And another phrase you'll hear often is, how much is it after the discount?
I really like that one because sometimes a store tells you the discount first, but you still don't know the final price.
Imagine the original price is $100, and the store says there's a 20% discount. You could ask, how much is it after the discount?
That means I'm asking for the final amount I actually have to pay.
Correct, and you can also ask, what's the final price?
Nice, that one is short and useful too.
Definitely. And now let's talk about the word off, because you'll see it everywhere when shopping.
Like 20% off.
Exactly. 20% off means the original price has been reduced by 20%.
So if something is $50 and it's 20% off, the discount is $10 and the final price is $40.
Right, and you don't have to calculate everything immediately. You can simply ask, how much is it after the 20% discount?
Now I want to ask about another situation. What if I'm shopping somewhere where prices can sometimes be negotiated?
Then you might hear expressions like, can you give me a discount? Or, could you give me a better price?
And I think, could you give me a better price? Sounds quite polite.
Yes, because could makes the request softer, especially when you're asking someone for a favor.
What about, can you lower the price?
That can work too, but it's more direct, so your tone matters.
So if I say it with a friendly voice, it can sound perfectly normal.
Exactly. And context is everything. If you're at a market where bargaining is common, a question like that may be completely normal.
But if you're in a regular store with fixed prices, it might feel unusual.
Right, and that brings us to an important everyday expression. Are there any special offers?
That sounds useful when I don't want to directly ask for a discount.
Exactly. It gives the salesperson a chance to tell you about promotions, bundles, membership deals, or other offers.
For example, I could say, I'm interested in this laptop. Are there any special offers at the moment?
That sounds natural and polite.
And maybe the salesperson says, we're offering a free case with this model.
In that case, there isn't necessarily a lower price, but you're still getting something extra.
So a special offer doesn't always mean the price goes down.
Exactly, and that's a useful distinction.
What about buying several things? Can I ask about a discount for that?
Of course, you can say, do you offer a discount if I buy two?
Or, is there a discount if I buy more than one?
Yes, and another natural phrase is, do you have any bundle deals?
That's useful when several products are sold together for a lower combined price.
Exactly. Like buying a phone with headphones and a case as one package.
Let's practice a tiny situation. I'm buying a pair of shoes, and I really like them, but they're a little expensive.
Okay, go ahead.
How much are these?
They're $90.
Oh, I really like them. Are they on sale?
Actually, they're 20% off this week.
Great. How much are they after the discount?
They're $72.
That sounds good. I'll take them.
Exactly. Notice how short the conversation is. There's no complicated grammar, but you can communicate everything you need.
And that's probably the biggest lesson here. Natural English doesn't have to be complicated.
Right. You can use simple questions, simple reactions, and simple answers, and still sound completely natural.
Let's quickly recap the most useful patterns. How much is this? For one item, how much are these? For several items. And how much does this cost? When you want to ask about the price directly.
Then we have, is this on sale? Is there a discount on this? How much is it after the discount? And are there any special offers?
And if bargaining is normal in the situation, you can politely ask, could you give me a better price?
Exactly. And remember, don't try to memorize everything today. Choose a few expressions that feel natural to you, then use them again and again.
Because the more familiar they become, the faster you'll react when you're actually shopping.
And that faster reaction is exactly what we want. You don't want to stand there translating every word in your head. You want the question to come naturally.
So the next time you walk into a store, imagine you're already having the conversation in English.
Ask yourself, how much is this? Then listen for the answer and think about what you would say next.
Maybe you'll ask about a discount.
Maybe you'll ask about a special offer.
Or maybe you'll look at the price and quietly decide to put the item back.
No worries, that's natural shopping too.
So, imagine you're walking into a clothing store and you notice a jacket that immediately catches your attention. You pick it up, look at the tag, and naturally ask, how much is this?
And that's probably the most useful sentence to remember. How much is this? It's short, friendly, and completely natural in everyday English.
You can also say, how much does this cost? That sounds a little more complete, but people use both expressions all the time.
Exactly. And if you're talking about something plural, you can say, how much are these? For example, you're looking at a pair of shoes and you ask, how much are these?
Right. And there's another useful expression, how much is it? You might use that after you've already talked about the item, so you don't need to repeat its name.
For example, you could ask, I really like this jacket. How much is it? That sounds very natural.
And then maybe the salesperson says, it's $80.
At that moment, you might think, $80. Okay, that's more than I expected.
And now comes the important question. Is it on sale?
Exactly. Is it on sale? Is one of the most useful expressions when you're shopping.
You could also ask, is there a discount on this? That's especially useful when you're interested in an item but want to know whether the price can be reduced.
And if you see a sign that says 20% off, you can ask, is this 20% off?
Or, how much is it after the discount? That's a great question when you want to know the final price.
Definitely, because sometimes the original price looks scary, but the discounted price is much better.
And sometimes the opposite happens. You see a huge discount sign, get excited, and then realize the discount only applies to a very specific item.
Oh yes, that happens all the time. And that's why another useful question is, does the discount apply to this?
I like that one because it helps you avoid surprises at the checkout.
Exactly. And you can also ask, are there any special offers? That sounds polite and natural when you're simply checking whether the store has a promotion.
Let's imagine I'm buying a pair of headphones, and the price is a little high. I might ask, are there any discounts available?
That works perfectly. And if you're buying more than one item, you could ask, do you offer a discount if I buy two?
Or maybe, can you give me a better price?
Yes, but be careful with that one, because it depends on the situation. In some stores, it's completely normal, while in others it might sound a little unusual.
So it's not just about knowing the sentence, it's about understanding the situation.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest secrets of natural English. The same sentence can feel different depending on where you use it.
Let's say you're at a small local market and you find a beautiful handmade bag. You ask, "How much is this?"
The seller says, "It's $30.
And I say, I really like it, but that's a little more than I wanted to spend.
That sounds natural. And now you could politely ask, "Would you be able to give me a small discount?"
That feels much softer than simply saying, "Give me a discount."
Exactly, because "would you be able to" makes the request more polite, especially when you're asking someone to do something for you.
And if the seller says, "I can give you $5 off," I could say, "That sounds good, I'll take it."
Or you could say, "Thanks, I appreciate that."
So we've got quite a few useful expressions already. How much is this? How much does this cost? Is it on sale? Is there a discount? How much is it after the discount? And would you be able to give me a small discount?
Exactly. And don't worry about memorizing all of them at once. Choose 2 or 3 that feel comfortable and start using those first.
That's true, because the goal isn't to sound like a dictionary, it's to sound like yourself, just with more confidence.
And once these expressions become familiar, you'll start hearing them everywhere, in stores, online shopping conversations, markets, restaurants, and even when friends are talking about something they bought.
So next time you see something you want, don't just look at the price tag and walk away.
Ask naturally, "How much is this?" You might get a better answer than you expect.
And maybe even a better price.
Exactly. That would definitely make shopping more fun.
You know, listening to that conversation again makes me realize how quickly a simple shopping conversation can change.
Exactly. And that's what makes everyday English interesting. You might start with one simple question about the price, and suddenly you're talking about discounts, special offers, and what you can actually afford.
And there's something else I want learners to notice. We didn't use complicated English.
Right. The language was simple, but the communication was real.
That's important, because sometimes English learners think they need advanced vocabulary before they can speak confidently.
But you can have a completely successful conversation with very ordinary words, if you know how to connect them naturally.
Let me tell you about something that happened to me once.
Of course, I'm listening.
I was looking for a pair of shoes, and I found a pair that looked fantastic. They were comfortable, simple, and exactly my style.
That sounds dangerous already.
It was, because then I looked at the price.
Oh no.
The price was much higher than I expected.
So what did you do?
I stood there for a few seconds, pretending I was still interested in the shoes. But really, I was having a serious conversation with my bank account.
That's funny, but honestly, I think a lot of people know that feeling.
Exactly. And finally, I asked the salesperson, "Are these on sale?"
And what did they say?
They said, "No, but we have a special offer if you buy 2 pairs.
Ah, there it is. The special offer.
Right. And I immediately thought, I came here to save money, and now they're trying to convince me to buy another pair.
That's how shopping works sometimes.
Exactly. So I smiled and said, "No worries. I only need 1 pair."
That's a useful little expression too. No worries.
Yes. And the salesperson was very friendly. So I asked, "Would you be able to give me a small discount?"
And did you get one?
Surprisingly, yes. They gave me a small discount.
Nice.
I was happy, but then I made one small mistake.
What happened?
I started looking at another pair.
Of course you did.
I know. I should have left the store immediately.
That's the real danger of discounts. Sometimes the discount doesn't save you money, it simply gives you a reason to spend more.
Exactly. And that's actually a useful lesson beyond English.
Definitely. Because when we see words like sale, special offer, or discount, our brains can get excited before we stop and ask whether we really need the item.
So when you're shopping, you can practice English and make a smart decision at the same time.
That sounds like a pretty good combination.
You can ask, how much is this?
Then ask, is it on sale?
And if there's a discount, ask, how much is it after the discount?
Then take a moment and ask yourself whether the final price actually works for you.
Exactly, because getting a discount doesn't automatically mean you're getting a good deal.
That's true, and this is where language and real life come together.
Another thing I want learners to notice is the difference between asking for information and asking for a favor.
Good point.
When you say, how much is this? You're simply asking for information.
Right?
But when you say, could you give me a better price? You're asking the other person to do something.
And that's why words like could and would you be able to can make your request sound softer.
So instead of saying, give me a discount, you can say, could you give me a small discount?
Or, would you be able to give me a better price?
That tiny change can make the conversation feel much friendlier.
Exactly. And when you're speaking English, being natural isn't only about grammar, it's also about how your words fit the situation.
You know what? I think this is one reason real conversations are so useful for learning.
Absolutely, because you hear the words inside a situation instead of memorizing them without context.
If you only memorize the phrase, is it on sale? You might forget it later.
But if you imagine yourself holding a jacket, looking at the price tag, and wondering whether it's cheaper today, the phrase becomes connected to a real moment.
And that makes it easier to remember.
Exactly.
So let's slow down for a moment and imagine you're actually standing in that store.
You see something you like.
You pick it up.
You look at the price.
And you say, how much is this?
The salesperson gives you the price.
Then you think it's a little expensive.
You ask, is it on sale?
Maybe there's no sale.
So you ask, are there any special offers?
Maybe there is one.
Then you ask, how much is it after the discount?
And now you have the information you need.
Exactly. That is a complete little conversation, and every sentence has a practical purpose.
You don't need to speak quickly.
You don't need difficult vocabulary.
You don't need perfect grammar.
You simply need to understand what you want to ask, choose a familiar expression, and say it.
And if you make a small mistake?
No worries, keep going.
If you forget a word?
No worries, use simpler words.
If you feel nervous?
Take a breath, smile, and try again.
That sounds simple.
It is simple, but simple doesn't mean useless. Simple language is often the language we use most.
Exactly. And that's what we want you to practice. Useful English that works when you actually need it.
So the next time you go shopping, don't just practice asking about the price. Practice the whole little sequence.
How much is this?
Is it on sale?
Are there any special offers?
How much is it after the discount?
And if bargaining is normal in that situation, you can politely ask for a better price.
Exactly. And once those questions become automatic, you'll notice something important. You're not just learning English anymore, you're starting to use it.
And that is a very different feeling.
Definitely. Because confidence grows when you realize you can handle small, real-life situations without translating every sentence in your head.
So maybe the next time you're holding something you really want, you'll remember this conversation.
And hopefully you'll remember both lessons: how to ask about the price and how to avoid buying 3 things just because one of them is on sale.
That second lesson might be even more important.
I completely agree.
Anyway, let's keep that feeling with us, because there's more to learn from these ordinary shopping moments than we might think. You know, when I think about shopping in English, I realize that the hardest part usually isn't the vocabulary.
That's true, because most of the words are actually quite simple.
The difficult part is reacting quickly when you're suddenly in a real situation.
Exactly. You might know the sentence, "How much is this?" perfectly when you're studying, but when someone is standing in front of you waiting for your question, your mind can suddenly go completely blank.
Oh, definitely. I've had that experience myself.
So have I, and it taught me something important. Speaking confidence doesn't come from knowing more and more expressions, it comes from using the expressions you already know.
That makes sense.
Think about it. If you practice one useful question 20 times, it can become automatic. But if you learn 20 questions and never use them, you may forget most of them.
So instead of trying to memorize every possible shopping phrase, we should build a small group of phrases that we can use comfortably.
Exactly. And one of the best groups to start with is very simple. How much is this? Is it on sale? Are there any special offers? And how much is it after the discount?
Those 4 questions can already help you in many situations.
Definitely. And then you can add one more when you feel ready. Could you give me a better price?
I like that because it gives you a way to ask politely without sounding too direct.
Right, but remember to think about the situation, because asking for a lower price is more common in some places than others.
That's an important point, because natural English isn't just about grammar. It's also about knowing what people normally say in a particular situation.
Exactly, and you can learn that through observation.
What do you mean?
When you watch English videos, listen to podcasts, or hear people speaking in real situations, pay attention to how they ask about prices.
So instead of only listening for new vocabulary, I should listen for useful patterns.
Yes, listen for patterns you could imagine yourself using.
For example, if I hear someone say, "How much does this cost?" I can mentally connect it with something I might actually buy.
Exactly. Maybe a jacket, a backpack, a coffee machine, or a pair of headphones.
And then I can say the sentence aloud.
Yes, even if you're alone.
Some learners might feel strange talking to themselves.
No worries. Everyone starts somewhere, and speaking to yourself is much less strange than being unable to speak when you actually need English.
That's a good point.
You can even create a tiny shopping scene at home.
How would that work?
Pick an object near you, imagine it's in a store, and ask yourself, how much is this?
Then I answer, it's $20.
Exactly, then continue, is it on sale?
Yes, it's 10% off.
Then ask, how much is it after the discount?
And answer with the final price.
Right. And you can make the situation more challenging by adding another question.
Like, are there any special offers?
Exactly. Or, do you offer a discount if I buy 2?
That's actually a really simple speaking exercise.
And that's why I like it, because you don't need special equipment, a partner, or even a lot of free time.
You can practice while sitting at home.
You can practice while walking.
You can even practice while looking through an online store.
Exactly. And online shopping gives you another useful opportunity.
Because you can see the original price and the discounted price.
Right? So you can look at a product and practice saying, the original price is $80, but it's now $60.
Then I could say, that's a $20 discount.
Exactly. And you're practicing English while thinking about something real.
I think that's much better than memorizing random sentences.
It usually is, because your brain remembers information more easily when it has a clear connection to something meaningful.
And there's another thing I've learned. Sometimes you don't need to speak immediately.
Absolutely.
If someone gives me a price and I'm surprised, I can simply say, "Oh, that's a little more than I expected."
That's a great natural reaction.
Then I can take a moment before deciding what to say next.
Exactly. And that's important for learners who feel they have to answer instantly.
So a short reaction can actually give me time to think.
Yes, expressions like, let me think about it, that's a little expensive for me, or I'll have to think about it, can help you keep the conversation going.
And they sound much more natural than staying completely silent while I search for a perfect sentence.
Exactly. Real conversations are not exams. You're allowed to pause.
That's reassuring.
And there's one more thing I want you to practice: changing the situation.
What do you mean by that?
Don't practice only with clothes. Imagine buying food, electronics, furniture, or something online.
So I could say, how much is this table?
Yes,
How much does this phone cost?
exactly.
Is this laptop on sale?
Perfect.
Are there any special offers on these headphones?
Very natural.
How much is it after the discount?
Excellent.
I can already see how this practice could make the phrases much easier to remember.
That's the goal, because eventually you don't want to think, which grammar rule should I use?
You just want the phrase to appear naturally.
Exactly. You see something, you want to know the price, and your brain immediately gives you, how much is this?
You see a discount sign and you think, is this on sale?
You see a promotion and you ask, are there any special offers?
And if the final price isn't clear, you ask, how much is it after the discount?
That's real speaking practice, and it's much closer to how you'll actually use English in everyday life.
So if you're listening right now, try this later today. Choose 3 objects around you and imagine you're shopping for them.
Ask about the price, ask about the discount, and answer yourself naturally.
Don't worry about sounding perfect.
Don't translate every word.
And don't stop because you make a small mistake.
Exactly, keep the conversation moving.
Because the real goal isn't to become perfect at shopping English.
It's to become more comfortable speaking English when something happens in real life.
And that confidence starts with very small conversations.
One question, one answer, one little practice session at a time.
You know, after talking about prices and discounts for a while, I think there's a bigger lesson hiding underneath this simple topic.
I agree, because shopping gives us a lot of chances to practice everyday English without making the practice feel like studying.
Exactly. And that's something I really want you to remember. English practice doesn't always have to happen with a textbook in front of you.
You can practice while doing ordinary things like shopping, cooking, walking, traveling, or even deciding what to buy online.
And shopping is especially useful because there are so many small questions and reactions you can practice.
Right, you can ask about the price, ask about a discount, ask about a special offer, compare 2 products, or explain that something is too expensive.
You can even practice saying what you think about the price.
Exactly. Phrases like, that's a good price, that's a little expensive, that's more than I expected, or that sounds reasonable, can be very useful.
I like, that sounds reasonable.
It's a nice phrase because you can use it when the price seems fair to you.
So if someone says, the final price is $60, I could say, that sounds reasonable.
Exactly. And if you think the price is too high, you might say, that's a little more than I wanted to spend.
That sounds much softer than saying, that's too expensive.
Both can work, but that's a little more than I wanted to spend gives you a more natural way to explain your situation.
And it doesn't sound rude.
Right, especially when you're talking to a salesperson.
I think this is another important lesson for English learners. Sometimes the best sentence isn't the shortest sentence.
Exactly. Sometimes adding a few simple words makes your meaning clearer and more polite.
For example, instead of saying discount,
You could say, are there any discounts available?
or instead of saying lower price,
You could say, "Would you be able to give me a better price?"
Those versions feel much more like real conversation.
And you don't have to use the most formal version every time. Just choose the expression that feels comfortable for the situation.
That makes me think about something else: confidence.
Yes, confidence is a huge part of speaking.
Sometimes learners know exactly what they want to say, but they hesitate because they're afraid of making a mistake.
And that hesitation can become a bigger problem than the mistake itself.
So what should they do?
Start small, choose one expression, and practice it until it feels familiar.
For example, how much is this?
Exactly. Say it several times, then change the object.
How much is this shirt?
How much is this bag?
How much is this phone?
How much is this backpack?
The structure stays the same, but the situation changes.
Right. And that repetition teaches your brain that you don't need to build the whole sentence from zero every time.
That's probably what we mean when we talk about thinking in English.
Exactly. You start connecting a situation directly to an English expression.
You see a price tag, and instead of thinking in your first language and translating, you immediately think, how much is this?
You see a sale sign, and your mind naturally gives you, is this on sale?
You see a promotion and you think, are there any special offers?
And when you want the final amount, you ask, how much is it after the discount?
That feels much faster.
It is faster, and that's the kind of automatic response we want to build.
Let's make this a little more challenging.
Sounds good.
Imagine you're shopping online and you see a jacket with an original price of $100, but the current price is $75.
Okay.
What could you say?
I might say, it's $25 cheaper than the original price.
Nice.
It is now $78 instead of the $100.
Great. And what question could you ask if you wanted to know whether there are any other offers?
Are there any other special offers?
Exactly. And if you were buying 2 jackets?
Do you offer a discount if I buy 2?
Perfect.
See, you're already having a complete shopping conversation in your head.
And that's a great exercise for listeners, because you can do it anywhere.
Exactly. You can open an online store, look at a product, and create your own English conversation.
You don't even have to buy anything.
Definitely, your wallet might appreciate that part.
That's true, and your English can still improve.
Now let's recap the main expressions one more time. But this time think about the situation rather than the grammar.
You see one item and want to know the price. How much is this?
You want another common way to ask, how much does this cost?
You see several items. How much are these?
You notice a sale. Is this on sale?
You want to know about promotions? Are there any special offers?
You want to know the final price. How much is it after the discount?
You're buying several items. Do you offer a discount if I buy more than one?
And if bargaining is appropriate, could you give me a better price?
That's already a useful little toolkit.
Exactly. And now I want you to do something very simple.
What is it?
Pick one phrase from this episode and use it today, even if you only say it aloud to yourself.
Just one phrase?
Just one, because small actions are easier to repeat.
And once that phrase feels comfortable, add another one.
Exactly. That's how you build confidence without overwhelming yourself.
So maybe today you practice. How much is this?
Tomorrow practice, is this on sale?
Then try, are there any special offers?
And later, how much is it after the discount?
Little by little, those sentences become part of your speaking habits.
And once they become habits, you don't have to think so hard before speaking.
That's the feeling we're aiming for.
Yes, not perfect English, but comfortable English.
Not complicated English, but useful English.
Not memorized English that stays inside a notebook, but English you can actually use.
And I think that's a much better goal.
I completely agree, because language is meant to be used.
So if you make a mistake while practicing, keep going.
If you forget a word, use a simpler word.
If you feel nervous, slow down.
And if you don't understand everything immediately, no worries, listen again.
That's true. Repetition is not failure.
Exactly. Repetition is how familiar language becomes automatic.
And eventually, one day you'll walk into a store, see something you like, and without thinking too much, you'll simply ask, "How much is this?"
And that tiny moment might feel ordinary to someone else, but for an English learner, it can be a really satisfying moment.
Because you know you just used English naturally.
Exactly, and those small moments are worth celebrating.
So keep practicing, keep listening, and keep finding simple ways to bring English into your everyday life.
You don't need a perfect situation, you just need a real one.
And there are plenty of real situations waiting for you.
Absolutely, even the next time you go shopping.
You know, I think there's something really nice about today's topic. Because asking about prices and discounts may seem like a very small part of English, but it can give you a real chance to speak with confidence.
Exactly. And that's what we want from English. Not just knowledge that stays inside your notebook, but simple language that helps you handle real moments in your everyday life.
Today you learned how to ask, "How much is this?" and "How much does this cost?"
You also practiced asking, "Is this on sale?" "Are there any special offers?" and "How much is it after the discount?"
And when the situation allows it, you can politely ask, "Could you give me a better price?"
Remember, you don't need to use every expression perfectly. Choose a few that feel comfortable. Practice them often, and let them become natural.
Maybe you can practice while looking around your room. Imagine you're in a store, choose an object, and ask yourself how much it costs.
Then imagine the salesperson answering, and continue the conversation with another question. This simple exercise can help your brain react more quickly in English.
And don't forget, confidence doesn't appear overnight.
It grows through small moments of practice. One sentence today, another sentence tomorrow, and another real conversation later.
If you make a mistake, keep speaking.
If you forget a word, use an easier one.
If you need more time, slow down.
And if you don't understand something the first time, listen again. There's no need to rush.
English is not a race, and you don't have to sound perfect to communicate successfully.
Exactly. Your goal is to become more comfortable, more flexible, and more confident every time you use English.
So the next time you are shopping and you see something you like, remember this episode.
Look at the price, take a breath, and ask your question in English.
How much is this?
And maybe the answer will surprise you in a good way.
Maybe you'll even find a discount.
And if you do, definitely enjoy the moment.
If this episode helped you practice useful English, keep listening, keep speaking, and keep bringing English into your everyday life.
And if you enjoyed learning with us, feel free to like the video, subscribe to Daily English Podcast, and leave a comment telling us one English question you would use when shopping.
Your comment might even give another learner a useful phrase to practice.
Exactly. We're all learning together, one conversation at a time.
Thanks for spending this time with us today.
Take care, keep practicing, and remember, your English gets stronger every time you use it.
Catch you later.
Catch you later.